What's happening, guys and girls? It's Beachbody again, and in today's video, has Sergio Oliva got too big for his boots? Sergio Oliva Jr. If you don't know him, you've been living under a rock, like I always like to say. But if you do know him, you know he's been caught up in a lot of controversy recently. He's stuck in Dubai, he can't compete in any pro shows, and we don't know what's going to happen to him, especially with the fact that Ramadan is taking place in Dubai right now, and it's unknown how long it's going to take for him to get sorted out in these circumstances. But as always, Sergio is one of the biggest names in the sport. His reputation means a lot, with his dad being the second Mr Olympia that ever won the show. He's got some of the best genetics for bodybuilding, but he's never quite fulfilled his potential. He's never won an Olympia. He's not actually competed in an Olympia since 2018 when Sean Roden won. That's how long he's been, let's call it, out of the game. Because he's still competed and he's still been on social media quite actively. But let's face it, if you're at the top dog like Sergio and you're not competing at the Olympia, what are you really doing? You fell off a little bit. And that's not meant in a harsh way. The reality is, he's got to uphold his reputation by competing in these big shows. But what he has been still maintaining is appearing on podcasts. And he recently made an appearance talking about the fact that the Olympia is potentially easier than it's ever been before. That's a bold statement, and it's not a statement a lot of the top guys are going to take very well. Just think how degrading that's going to feel to those guys who day in, day out, 365, work their asses off to be the best in the sport. And let's face it, guys, if you follow the Olympia or bodybuilding in general, you know that every single year the Olympia is marketed as the best and biggest it's ever been. But last year in 2022, it probably was. We have one of the best lineups we've seen for years. Probably one of the best lineups we've seen since the early 2000s, or probably since Ronnie retired. But Sergio, despite the fact he's not competed for several years, he still claims that the Olympia is easier than it's been, certainly for a while.
I take this statement, but I think now is the easiest time to ever win the Mr. Olympia. I don't exist when a Ronnie Coleman exists or a Phil Heath exists. I'm not alive while somebody is just gonna do a decade of just Mr. Olympias.
The question is then, why weren't you competing it? Yeah, the last year, or the last few months at least, you've had reason to not compete. You've been stuck in Dubai, you've been going through a lot, we get it. But you've not been on the Olympia stage since 2018. It's 2023, so the last show was 2022. So you had 4 years. Let's take 22 out. You had 3 years. You've missed 3 Olympias. I'm not trying to dig at the guy. He's a lot bigger in the sport than I am. Let's face it. I'm not deluded. But what I am is honest. And what he's doing is degrading the athletes that are working day in, day out. Even making the claim that Hadi Choopan can't win a second title.
So I feel next year it's going to be a different person. I don't think Hadi's going to even win again. And that's so exciting because it means any one of us can win it.
We don't know that yet. He's one of the most consistent athletes in the sport. He rightfully deserved that 2022 win. He's got one of the best trainers in the world. If you watch my videos already, you'll know that I hold Hadi Rambod in high regard. Yeah, just like in my last video, the top 3 guys last year at the Olympia, they're heavy hitters. Nick, Derek, Hadi, they're all top guys. Probably going to be the next top 3 in the next show. But for Sergio to come out and say that it's easier than it's ever been, that's taken a lot away from the guys who work their asses off to be where they are. So why don't he put his money where his mouth is? Sergio, when you're back and your problems in Dubai are sorted out, I really do hope the best for you, and I hope it does get sorted out soon. But why don't you make a return to the Olympia stage? Why don't you show us how it's easier than it's ever been? You've got some of the best genetics to ever uphold in bodybuilding. It's not a dig at the guy, but to have the genetics he's got and the lineage that he's got, and to be nearly 40 years old and never won an Olympia, they're some big statements. So what do you guys think about what he said recently? Do you agree with it? Do you think he needs to put his money where his mouth is? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what you think about Sergio's comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video.